Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Giri Varadhari, Jaya Giri Varadhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Giri Varadhari, Jaya Giri Varadhari. Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Sharana Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Giri Varadhari, Jaya Giri Varadhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Giri Varadhari, Jaya Giri Varadhari. Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Sharana Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privaracharya Astata Sara Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Sutasara Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem Sakho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivrinda ki Jai. Shri Shri Radharadhanath ki Jai. Shriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Shri Giri Raj Govardhana ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatyam Vyasam Tato Jayadhirayet Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 4th canto, chapter 16, text 5. Ese Esavalokapalam Esavailokapalam Vibharti ekastanutano Kale kale yatam bhagam Lakayor ubhayor Ese vailokapalanam Vibharti ekastanutano Kale kale yata bhagam Lokayor ubhayor hitam Ese vailokapalanam Vibharti ekastanutano Kale kale yata bhagam Lokayor ubhayor hitam. Can say Esha vailokapalanam Vibharti ekastanutano Kale kale yato bhagam Lokayor ubhayor hitam. Esha vailokapalanam Vibharti ekastanutano Kale kale yata bhagam Lokayor ubhayor hitam. Esha vailokapalanam Vibharti ekastanutano Kale kale yata bhagam Lokayor ubhayor hitam. So we'll do the word for word meaning. Esha, this king, Vai, certainly, Lokapalanam, of all the demigods, Vibharti, bears, Eka, alone, Tanu, in his body, Tanu, the bodies, Kale kale, in due course of time, Yata, according to, Bhagam, prepare, proper share, Lokayor, of planetary systems, Ubhayor, both, Hitam, welfare. So translation, the king alone in his own body will be able to, in due course of time to maintain all living entities and keep them in a pleasant condition by manifesting himself as different demigods to perform various departmental activities. Thus he will maintain the upper planetary system by inducing the populace to perform Vedic sacrifices. In due course of time, he will also maintain the earthly planet by discharging proper rainfall. The purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The demigods in charge of the various departmental activities that maintain this world are but assistants to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When an incarnation of God descends on this planet, demigods like the sun, the moon god, and the king of heaven, Indra, all join him. Consequently, the incarnations of Godhead is able to act for the departmental demigods to keep the planetary system in order. The protection of the earth planet is dependent on proper rainfall and as stated in the Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, sacrifices are performed to please those demigods who are in charge of rainfall. Anadbhavanti bhutani pragyad anasambhavaha yagyad bhavati parjano yagyo karma samudbhavaha. All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by the performance of yagya, or sacrifice, and yagya is born of prescribed duties. This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita 3:14. Thus the proper execution of yagya, sacrifice is required. As indicated herein, King Prithu alone would induce all the citizens to engage in such sacrificial activities so that there would be no scarcity or distress. In Kali Yuga, however, in the so-called circular state, the executive branch of the government is in charge of the so-called kings and presidents, who are all fools and rascals, ignorant of the intricacies of nature's courses and ignorant of the principles of sacrifice. Such rascals simply make various plans which always fail, and the people subsequently suffer disturbances. To counteract the situation, the Shastras advise Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, Kalo nasti eva nasti eva nasti eva gatir anyata. Thus, in order to counteract the unfortunate situation in government and the general populace is advised to chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhescha Kripasindubhevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we see there's in this verse and purport Prabhupada is establishing Pritha Maharaj as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his the professional reciters are actually praising Pritha Maharaj for his attributes and his qualities, so on and so forth. So we'll try to say a few things on this verse and purport. The first point I wanted to make is that in the Bhagavad Gita 9:25 it is stated, Yanti deva vrata devan pitir yanti pritivrataha bhutane yanti bhutaya yajanti yajanti mam yanti mam yajina apimam. So it is being described that those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, right? And those who worship the Pitars or the forefathers will attain to that planet. Those who worship the ghosts and spirits will go to that planet where the ghosts and spirits live. And those who worship me, Krishna is saying, they will come to me. So there's different grades of living entities that worship different demigods, and as it is being described over here. So maybe we'll just read the purport of that verse and see what Prabhupada is saying in this beautiful verse of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9:25. If one has any desire to go to the moon, the sun, or any other planet, one can attain this desired destination by following the Vedic principles recommended for that purpose, such as the process technically called as Darsha Purnamasha. So here we see that in this purport, Prabhupada is saying that those who want to go to the moon planet, they can go. Those who want to go to the sun planet, they can go. And that, how do they do this? By worshipping that particular demigod and properly following the rules and regulations, and thereby attaining to that planet, right? So nowadays we find that the scientists want to go to these planets artificially, right? And they claim that they have landed on the moon and and all that, but that's to be checked. It's really, we cannot really believe these things, because to go to the moon planet is a heavenly abode, and one has to have certain amount of piety in order to go there. Similarly, if one wants to go to the sun planet, then he has to have a certain amount of piety and attain the body of fire in order to go to the sun planet. So you cannot just go to the sun planet like that, otherwise you'll be burned to ashes, right? So because the sun is so strong, and now it's summer in South Africa and we can feel the heat, right? And how strong the heat is, and the sun is so far, far away, right, from us. But if you want to go to the sun planet, then you have to acquire a body made of fire in order to enter the sun planet. So similarly, the moon planet, you have to attain a certain type of body to go to the moon planet. You cannot just go like that. Although these bodies are material, right, they're not spiritual. The fiery body is also material. Shishi Radharadhanath ki jai. So, so one has to attain these particular bodies. So one cannot just go like that, go there. So let's continue reading. Such as, these are vividly described in the fruitive activity portion of the Vedas, which recommend a specific worship of demigods situated on different heavenly planets. Similarly, one can attain the Pitta planet by performing a specific yagya. Similarly, one can go to any ghostly planet and become a yaksha, raksha, or pisacha. Pisacha worship is called black art or black magic, right? So even if you want to attain to that planet of the pisachas, then you have to, engage in those activities. So then you can go there. There are many men who practice this black art and they think that it is spiritualism, but such activities are completely materialistic. Similarly, a pure devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead achieves the planets of Vaikuntha and Krishna Loka without a doubt. It is very easy to understand through this important verse that if by simply worshipping the demigods one can achieve the heavenly planets, or by worshipping the Pitas achieve the Pita planet, or by practicing the black arts achieve the ghostly planets, why can a pure devotee not achieve the planet of Krishna or Vishnu? Unfortunately, many people have no information of these sublime planets where Krishna and Vishnu live. And because they do not know of them, they fall down. Even the impersonalists fall down from the Brahmajyoti. The Krishna conscious movement is therefore distributing sublime information to the entire human society to the effect that by simply chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become perfect in this life and go back home, back to Godhead. So we see here that Prabhupada is making the point that the mass of people are ignorant of this process, and therefore he has come to establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead so we can attain to the spiritual abode. We find many people are engaged in different kinds of yagyas in order to please the demigods and, attain to the heavenly planets. But we find that even on the heavenly planets, one is short-lived. One has to come back to this material planet and, start all over again and then go back to the spiritual abode. So therefore, Prabhupada has come to educate the mass of people about the spiritual world, Krishna Loka, where once having gone, one doesn't come back to this material world, right? In this verse it is being described that all living bodies subsist on food grains. Food grains subsist on rain. Rain subsists on yagya, right? And yagya is born of prescribed duties. So yes, to please the demigods in order to get rain. But we can understand from the pastime in the 10th canto that Krishna, he forbid this, and he established, that we should worship him, we should worship Krishna only. In that, he curbed the pride of Indra, who sent torrents of rain to Vrindavan, and in order to vanquish the inhabitants of Vrindavan, right? And Krishna lifted Govardhan hill. So we find that we should only worship Krishna because he is the root of all causes, right? And in the Brahma Samhita it is being stated, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadhir Adhir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So we'll just turn to that verse and analyze and basically establish Krishna's position. So Ishvara, in the word for word meaning, Ishvara means controller and Para means supreme. So Krishna is a supreme controller, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is a supreme controller. Such comprising of eternal existence, Chit, absolute knowledge, Ananda, the absolute bliss, and Vigraha, whose form. So Krishna's body is full of knowledge, full of bliss, and is eternal, right? The Vigraha, Krishna has a form. It's unlike the impersonalists who say that there is no form, that God doesn't have a form. So in this way, here this verse is establishing Krishna, a personality of Godhead, who is a person and who has a form. So Anadhir, without beginning, Adhir, the origin, Govinda, Lord Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So in this way, if he's the cause of all causes, then he's the cause of the demigods, he's the cause of everything, of the living entities, of everything in this material world. He is the cause of all. So this verse very nicely establishes Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this way, one need not go and worship any demigods to get any amenities or anything that they require. One just need to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as I said, He's the root of everything, right? When you want to water, the analogy is given, when you want to water the tree, you go to the root and you pour water on the root, and in that way the whole tree is nourished. And like that, when you want to, when you worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the root of everything, then everyone, the demigods are satisfied, the living entities are satisfied, everybody is satisfied, right? When you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this way, one can worship Krishna, without any hindrance, and without thinking that, if I worship this demigod, then something will happen. If I don't worship this demigod, something will happen to me, and if I don't worship that demigod, something will happen to me. No, nothing will happen to you. Actually, these demigods are very, they'll be very happy that you're worshipping the Supreme Lord, because they are also worshipping the Supreme Lord. And we see in the Bhagavatam, there's so many prayers given by the demigods, right? When Krishna cut the pride of Indra, and he came to realize that he's not the Supreme, he offered many prayers to Krishna like this. So, and in Brahma Samhita, this whole Brahma Samhita is a prayer by Lord Brahma, establishing Krishna's position. So we see that in the Brahma Samhita also, there's a nice verse that establishes the supreme abode and the Supreme Personality of Godhead's position, right? Text 56, Shriyakanta Kanta Parama Purushaha Kapataravo Drumas Bhumis Chintamani Ganatayam Amritam Kataganam Nircham Gamanamapi Vamsi Priyasakihi Chidanandam Jyoti. Let me just turn to that verse. Yeah. So the last line goes like this. Chidanandam Jyoti Paramapitad Ashwadham Apischa. So here too, in this verse, it is being described. So we won't read, I'll just read the translation and I'll give a summary of this verse, because this verse is quite elaborate, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he uses very sophisticated language, the English language here to describe this verse. So we'll just summarize it. I worship the transcendental seat known as Swetadeep, where as loving consorts, the Lakshmis, in their unalloyed spiritual essence, practice the amorous service of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, as their only lover, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is a purpose gem, all water is nectar, every word is a song, every gate is a dance, and the flute is a favorite attendant. Effulgence is full of transcendental bliss. The supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty. The numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past and future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away, even for the space of half a moment. That realm is known as Goloka only to a very few realized souls in this world. So we see that here, I'm like so hot. So here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is actually establishing Krishna as the supreme absolute truth, and he is describing the spiritual world, right? And the way he says that there's millions and millions of Lakshmis, or goddesses of fortune, that are always serving Krishna, right? And all water is nectar, every word is a song, every gait is a dance, every movement is a dance, every flute, and the flute is a favorite attendant. And we see that also. I was listening to a class by Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and he was saying that he just took out a few words from this purport, and he was explaining that Jyotir actually means the spiritual, eternal, spiritual world, right, which is eternal, and there is no sun or moon, material sun or moon in that world that eliminates the spiritual world, and this effulgence is actually coming from Krishna's body, right? But for pastime's sake, there is a sun and a moon, in order to enhance Krishna's pastimes. But the sun and the moon is not material; it is spiritual, and it is not subjected to annihilation when this world is the sun and moon in this world is annihilated when this world is annihilated. But in the spiritual world, the sun and the moon are not annihilated because they give pleasure to Krishna, right? And there's no waning of the moon, and waxing of the moon like that. It's there to enhance Krishna's pastimes. And also there's variegatedness in the spiritual world, in that there's trees, creepers, rivers, mountains, and it also talks about the speech, the movements of the living entities, the Surabhi cows that supply unlimited amount of milk, and the flute is always giving off beautiful, sweet music, right? And even there's so much more variegatedness in the spiritual world that we cannot even think of. And here in this verse and purport, just a summary is given, just a little taste is given of what's there in the spiritual world. So we'll see that in this material world also we have these things: trees, creepers, rivers, mountains, like that, so on and so forth. But in the spiritual world, all these things are actually their personalities, and they are serving Krishna to the best of their ability in order to give Krishna pleasure, right? So the trees are personality, the creepers are personalities, the mountains are personalities, right? So all of these things are personalities, and they are giving Krishna pleasure. In some way or the other, they are actually contributing to the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, right? And we see that every step is a dance. It's being mentioned here, right? Every word is a song. So, unlike in this material world, people are so busy talking nonsense, right? They whatever comes out of their mouth is not beneficial to anyone, right? Besides, when you engage in Krishna conscious activities and speak Krishna katha, or you chant Krishna's holy names, then that's the only beneficial thing in this world. Nothing else is actually beneficial, right? And time there is eternal, so it's not subjected to past, present, and and future. The time is eternal, and the residents of Vrindavan, they forget about time because they are so engrossed in Krishna's activities that they forget about time, right? But although time is basically conspicuous by its absence, right? Because there is sequel of events, nevertheless. The spiritual world is not touched by matter, right? Just like has a lotus leaf is not touched by the water, so similarly the spiritual world is not touched by matter, and everything in the spiritual world is comprised of spirit, of spiritual nature. But in this material world, everything is made of matter, and everything is material, right? So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj quotes the Chandogaya Upanishad, and he says that what's in the spiritual world is also within the span of the heart of a pure devotee. So all the pastimes that's occurring in the spiritual world is occurring within the heart of the pure devotee. And he says the whole spiritual world is encompassed in the heart of a pure devotee. Now how wonderful is that? So we need to actually come up to that level, in order to see the Lord's pastimes enacting in front of us. So and that is when we become fully realized, fully Krishna conscious, and by engaging in this 9 processes of devotional service, then only can we actually come up to this path to understand that about Krishna's pastimes and what is going on in the spiritual world. And so he says that this pure devotee also sees the Lord within the heart engaging in different pastimes, and that his heart is completely made of Vrindavan, so this is very far-fetched for us, who are trying as sadhana bhaktis, we are trying to practice sadhana bhakti, Vedi sadhana bhakti, following rules and regulations, right? And we need to purify the heart by chanting, the chanting process, Cheto Dharpana Marshanam, right? By cleansing the heart, the mirror of the heart, and removing all the dirt from the heart, then only can we actually come to this level. So Maharaj also says that actually the hidden meaning of this verse is the manifestation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, when we read the verse now, it didn't say anything about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in the purport and the verse, he says that the hidden meaning of this verse is to bring out the qualities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he says, Param Api, Krishna, is the only enjoyer, the absolute truth. Ashvad Apischa means that Radharani is the object of enjoyment, and she is, so they also in this verse it is being described that the residents are tasteful and blissful, basically, right? And so in this way we can understand that Radharani's love for Krishna is so pure, and it's it's so it cannot be actually described. We get a slight tinge of this love being shared in the nectar of devotion, Anya Bilasita Sunyam, where one should serve Krishna the way Krishna desires, and not serve Krishna to fulfill our own bodily demands. Right? When we go to the mosque, temple and church, we pray to Krishna, Krishna, I want, give me this and give me that. But actually when the residents of Vrindavan, they serve Krishna for Krishna's pleasure, what Krishna wants. So we should understand what Krishna wants and serve him for his pleasure and not for our own pleasure. So so there's constant competition between Radha and Krishna's love, and therefore Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in order to taste Radharani's love for himself, right? To experience this love that Radharani has for him. So, and he gave us a simple process in order to activate this love. And how do we do that? By the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the way we can actually cleanse our dirty hearts. Our hearts are dirty and full of grime, and then that's how we can actually cleanse the heart. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us this love of God which is imbued in the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it is being described that these holy names are just like dry grass. When dry grass can be ignited just like that. So and it basically is burnt to ashes, right? And so these holy names can burn to ashes all the sin within the heart. And it is being described that at the beginning stages of one's life, and when one starts to chant the holy names, then the holy names actually get rid of all the sin within the heart. And and at that point we're actually chanting with Namabas. So Namabas is basically there to rid the heart of all the sins. So just like Ajamil chanted the Lord's name in Namabas. He was actually calling for his son, right? But the Lord took it that he's calling for him, and in this way, he was rid of all his sins, and he was able to make his life perfect and go back home, back to the spiritual world. So it is being described that actually pure chanting produces Krishna Prem. Right? Pure chanting produces Krishna Prem. And that's what the living entities are hankering for. Right? We're hankering for love of God, but we're hankering in all the wrong places. Right? We want to get this thing and that thing, and God give me this and God give me that in order to make our lives happier. But actually we're only looking for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and once we attain to the lotus feet of Krishna, then actually all our material miseries go away, right? Kleshagni, it actually vanquishes all our material miseries. So the Mahamantra is so potent that it can actually do like this. It can actually rid the heart of all the sins, burn up all the sins within the heart. So talking about the glories of the holy name, the holy name. So once Srila Prabhupada was telling a story that his friend, Mr. Ghosh, was, Mr. Ghosh told him this story that when he was little, he was studying, and then there was a snake that came into the schoolyard, and so they how to get rid of the snake. All the children were running here and there, and then they called a snake charmer. So the snake charmer knew a mantra that that he can actually control the snake with, and then he came and he recited this mantra, and then he cut hold of the snake and put him in the basket. And when he opened his basket, there were other snakes there, and they all came out of the basket, and they were going all over. And the children were running, and then Mr. Ghosh, at least the snake charmer, told the children, don't be afraid of the snakes. Whilst I'm here, the snakes won't harm you. Why? Because he chanted this special mantra that could actually curb this the snake's poison, or the snake from harming the people. So in this way, Prabhupada says that if a material mantra can actually do like this, you can actually curb the poison in a snake. So how more effective can the spiritual mantra be? The chanting of the Lord's holy names. How more effective can that be? And so therefore he says that this the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra can actually burn up all the sins that one has accumulated over lifetimes and lifetimes. All these sins can be vanquished, right? When one uproots the sin, then he no more performs any other sinful activities. And it is being described that no matter how much of sinful activities one can perform, this Mahamantra is so great that it can, that it can actually vanquish more sins than one can commit. But that doesn't mean to say that we can go on sinning and chant the Mahamantra, because that won't work either. That is like an elephant bathing. An elephant bathes in the river, and then he goes out on land, and he throws sand all over his body. So what is the use of his bathing? So similarly, we should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and try not to commit any sinful activities, and try to make our lives perfect in order to go back home, back to Godhead. And we see that this is the most important yajna, right? In this day and age of Kali Yuga, the most important yajna. In different ages, there were different processes of going back to the spiritual world, like meditation and temple worship, fire sacrifice, like that. But in this world, they are not proper Brahmins to actually perform these yajnas, in order to make our lives perfect. Because in previous ages, when fire sacrifice was the process, then the Brahmanas were so pure that they would chant a mantra, and just by chanting that mantra, they would invoke Agni, right, the Lord of Fire, and the fire will be lit in the Havan Kund. So they did not need matches and all these things. All they did was mantra. All by mantra they would actually activate the fire. So in this age we do not have such qualified Brahmanas to chant mantras purely in order to invoke the different demigods to come and partake in the yajnas also. So therefore Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this simple process, and it's very easy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we can chant this mantra, and the sound vibration actually enters the ears and penetrates the heart and removes all the misgivings in the heart. So we should chant with care and attention, and with we should listen to the sound vibration of the Mahamantra. So this is our meditation. Our meditation is to listen to the sound vibration of the Mahamantra, because only by listening to the sound vibration of the Mahamantra and not allowing our minds to wander here and there can we actually achieve Krishna Prem, love of God. Because otherwise it'll just be chanting in Namabhas, and that will, although it eradicates all the sin, it will basically take us to the heavenly planets, and we'll have to come back here. So in order for us not to chant Namabhas, and we have to chant purely, then we need to apply this meditation of listening to the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we should become attached to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and not become attached to the things of this world. So we'll stop there. If anyone has any contributions to the class, you're most welcome to do so. If not, we can close up. Mantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.